Scientists have been warning us about climate change for years. And the world certainly took notice a couple of weeks ago when a video of a starving, disoriented polar bear made its way around the planet on social media. Our guest has witnessed that changing level of Arctic sea ice and what it's doing to people and to animals. Paul Nicklin is a photographer, a marine biologist and co-founder of Sea Legacy. He's documented what a warming climate is doing for wildlife. You're joining me from Nanoose Bay on Vancouver Island in Canada. You took those images of that starving polar bear. Tell us about it. What did you see? What struck you?
We were working in an area up in Baffin Island, northern Baffin Island, celebrating a potential creation of a marine protected area. And we were seeing some bears, healthy bears, fat bears, normal bears, and we came around a corner into a bay with our boat, and we noticed this lump of white fur on the ground, and we didn't know if it was a dead bear or what it was. So we went on land, we positioned ourselves a long ways away, and the head moved, and we realized it was a polar bear that was in trouble. And our team had just positioned ourselves, and slowly after maybe an hour, the bear very slowly got up, and that's that gut-wrenching moment where you see where he's laboring to get up and dragging himself across the tundra, and we didn't, obviously know what to do at that moment other than film. And he walked towards us, went into the trash can, grabbed a piece of foam from this old Inuit camp, and then he made his way down to the ocean. And I was worried he was going to drown, but he slipped into the water and actually floated quite high and moved much easier in the water. And he swam off into a group of islands. And at that point, we were just sort of more stunned and shocked and just saddened by what we watched.
Stunned, shocked, saddened. So do we know if he's okay? I mean, you said he swam off. I mean, he's still alive, hopefully.
Well, my guess is that he would have been dead very soon after that. He looked incredibly weak. His muscles had atrophied, that they were no longer working. You can see his left hind leg is dragging across the tundra. I would have given him more than a couple of days, but we were hundreds of miles away from any community or any support, and the big criticisms of us are, why didn't we go out and feed him? Well, to do that, we would have had to have chased him, and then we would have had to have gone out and killed other animals, and we would have had to kill, a walrus or a seal or a whale to feed a bear that wasn't likely going to make it. So then it becomes a big moral debate as well.
Now, this is one bear. It's not a once-off, is it? I mean, and there's the expectation that as climate change continues, that this kind of image is going to be amplified again and again.
Well, that's what we're trying to get out with our message. We're saying to the world, we don't know that this bear died because of climate change. We don't know that it died because of a loss of sea ice. Even though there was no sea ice in the area, they physiologically adapted to go for a month or two or three without any food. But when we were working in Svalbard 2 or 3 years ago, we came across in a place that historically had a lot of ice, and there was no ice in the area, and we found 2 polar bears that also had starved to death. They were young adults. So we're starting to see this trend. We're starting to see proof of the effects of climate change on bears. Again, this one we don't know, but when scientists, respected scientists, polar bear scientists tell us that we can expect to see, models predict that we'll lose 30% of the 25,000 bears living in the northern hemisphere in the next 50 years, in the next 30 years, by 2050, then that's alarming. And they're saying polar bears could be extinct in the next 100 to 150 years. So we use this opportunity, this video. Again, we can't say it's dying because of climate change, but this is what a starving polar bear looks like.
And what we're seeing here is
they're not just data points falling off.
Yeah, I mean, just get the polar bears polar bears kind of have a feast or famine feeding program. So I mean, this is why this is important. I mean, we're seeing here now a fat, healthy polar bear, but compared to the one you filmed, starkly different. Exactly.
What's happening with climate change and the effects on sea ice is that polar bears are designed to be on land for once every year. Earlier every year, it's feeding later in the fall. So they're having longer and longer periods stranded on land. Some places is less prevalent for up to 3 to 4 months a year, and that's just not doable for these animals.